All right, we are here live on What Does the Bible Say? And we're glad to be with you. That was a quick get on. Let me have my little moment here. Okay. So, as we said, we're on What Does the Bible Say? And I am in the mode here to get started. Man, we went from not being on the air to boom, we are on the air. All right. So, let's line them up. We have I think, a very good lineup tonight, and I want to start it like this. This is going to be our entire show tonight. First segment is going to be having to do with Danville from the standpoint of, do you really realize what you guys are doing as far as who's running the city? And so let me give you this, and I'll do it again a couple of times as we go through the show. And let's see. Okay, folks, that is your intro right there. That is Danville's answer to a economy problem. Did you see that? That is actually the explosion of Dan River Mills smoke towers, smokestacks, and you may be looking at it and saying, well, Dan River still has smokestacks. They do still have 3 of them, but the fact of the matter is that was the explosion. Let me let you look at it again. Oh, man. I just can't get enough of that. Folks, I hate to be the individual who is being somewhat sacrilegious towards your history, but this is really what you're getting from Caesars. And you hear those guys moaning and carrying on when they watch those smokestacks fall? That's the way people actually felt when the Dan River Mills was going out of business. From 1982 till 2004, they were basically having those same groaning sounds. Whole families, the entire town was just, what? It was a disaster. And then eventually, you have this is actually a video that's in a maybe a WSLS. I'm not exactly sure which paper or who put it out there, but it was brought up again in 2013 or 2014 by the gambling casinos, and they basically wanted to revisit a time which is extremely difficult in the history of Danville and our area too. I'm sure there were plenty of people. I know when I moved here, in 1980s, let's see, 1997, individuals were taking us over to Dan River. I remember one of the first things that happened is somebody took my wife to visit the Dan River Mills. Let me hydrate here just a minute. I should have brought a glass in. Okay, so that's what I want to talk to you tonight about. This is a broadcast that is, in fact, kind of delayed. I'm a Tuesday morning individual. We changed till Tuesday at 1 p.m. for my What is the Bible Say School. We weren't able to get our technical difficulties worked out. So Caleb came on in the morning, and I wasn't able to get on in the afternoon. And so we're doing makeup right now, and we're wanting to get into our Danville audience and want to welcome you to What Does the Bible Say, and to the special editions. They're not really special editions. We do all kinds of things when it really comes down to doing politics or during the election season. Every single election season we do the candidates, we vet them, we show you things that you'll never see. Really, you're never going to see this on a broadcast where you're doing both sides. We're doing both sides, just showing all the problems that individuals have. We're watching right now as I'm doing the casino shows. We're in fact in doing research, and I'm finding out all kinds of things. For instance, in Las Vegas, in Nevada, all over Nevada, the culinary union, the cooks and chefs or whatever, they're joining together and they're going to vote against Trump, according to some newspapers. Why? Because they're claiming that they can't get a bill through Congress which gives the MGM big, huge casinos and hotels, they won't bail them out. They're all about to go under, what they claim. And so they're wanting a bill to pass through Congress. And so the other side is saying, well, they can't get it passed because Nancy Pelosi and them are holding it up. And the reason why they're holding it up is they say, the newspapers are actually saying, that the Democratic side wants the bill to have money in it so that it can repair all the burned out cities. All these cities that had all these riots in them, they want money to bail them out. If Trump gets to bail the casinos out, that's what they're saying. If the Republicans bail the casinos out, that's basically what it would be. If you have Trump on that side, everybody knows that he used to be involved in casinos. He and Wynn Casinos are good buddies, and he's friends with several of these individuals that are in the casino business. And so it's behind the scenes, a lot of stuff going on. Now, here's what you can do tonight. That if you want to help out what we're doing, you can get on and you could tell one of your friends in Danville that we're in fact doing this, and we're saying to them, this is what you need to do. You could get on YouTube and you could see what's going on right now. You know, you do not have to be on any kind of cable anymore. This is live right now on YouTube. We are actually playing right now. That's me doing the live show as we speak. And this is what you can tell your friends, that they can actually see this. And you might say, well, how is this happening? We're simulcasting. This is live television here in Martinsville. This is live on the YouTube, and individuals all over Danville could be watching this. All you have to do is start telling your friends to type in Johnny Robertson on YouTube in your search bar, and you would get us live when we're doing our live shows. And if you miss it, you can see all of the broadcasts that you've missed. These are archived. So as we're doing this right now, you can see that we are, in fact, live in 2 different places. And what we're wanting you to do is include a friend tonight. Call one of them up and just say, call your Danville friends and family up and say, this dude is about to really get into a huge, just layer after layer after layer of information associated with the casinos. And so, okay, I got another little what I'm going to call I'm going to call it a ditty, little jingle. That's what we actually need to call it. Let's see. As we start this, let me find my jingle here. I have so many open. And let's see. Just give me a minute. I see it now. Okay. Here we go. I want to make you look at that. Okay. Now then, what in the world? I was giving that jingle, welcome back. That's from a very popular show, Welcome Back. Look who we've got here on the screen. These are the same persons. It's just like 40 years later, 80 to 1982 to now. And that's Carl Icahn. Who is Carl Icahn? Check out this newspaper article. The time Carl Icahn fought an entire Virginia town and lost. Let me tell you something, y'all. This is one of the very few times that Carl Icahn lost anything. This is in 1982. A 46-year-old Carl Icahn tried to take control of a 100-year-old textile company called Dan River Mills, located in Danville, Virginia. Now, did he take it over? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Is what's going on right here. Now, that is enough to give you PTSD if you're living in Danville. That is the results of this guy, Carl Icahn. Now, the newspaper is Business Insider. The website is called Business Insider. And it's an entire article. We're going to look at it tonight. It's from 2013. It's a visit to the past. And Carl Icahn is still around. This is him right up here. And whether you know it or not, Carl Icahn is about to come back. What does that mean? Carl Icahn is one of the big shareholders in Caesars Entertainment, Inc. It is the new casino proposition that is being put out by individuals in Danville. The city council, let's see if I can get all my slides lined up. This is not the way to do things, but this is basically how I end up being tonight. And so these individuals right here, they are bringing Carl Icahn back. And if you're having PTSD right now and you're thinking, what in the world? Why in the world would anybody bring this guy back? You can ask this question. You can get in with your friends, go to Danville yourself and ask James Buckner, Alonzo Jones, Barry P. Mayo, Samuel A. Kushner, Vice Mayor Gary P. Miller, Sherman M. Saunders, J. Lee Vogler Jr., Madison J.R. Whittle, and L.G. Larry Campbell Jr. Ask these men, why in the world are we bringing Carl Icahn back? Haven't we had enough? Really and truly, I'm saying, has Danville had enough? They saved those three smokestacks right there. They saved those out of all the stuff that's associated with Dan River Mills. And they're iconic. They're nostalgic for a lot of people. Most people have gotten over this scene that I'm showing you right here. I don't know if you have or not, but that is just simply amazing. Oh. Now, so what do you think? Do we need to examine this? Is this the truth? That this is your group of individuals that you can thank for getting Carl Icahn back in Virginia? Back in Danville, literally? Well, you might say, Johnny, you haven't convinced me. That is fine. If I haven't convinced you, that's good. It's good that you're not willing to just take sound bites and just say, okay, Johnny Robertson, what does the Bible say? Says that Carl Icahn is back. Now, I don't know if you really remember or not. There are people, when I was actually talking to the media here, the station here, it wasn't the case that everybody immediately remembered Carl Icahn. And so we're going to go through this and let you see that you are actually in the media. Can you imagine? You didn't know this? That Business Insider was revisiting something that took place like 10 years before. I'm thinking, I think that Dan River Mills was completely bankrupt by 2004. We'll see it in this article as we go along. And so 2013, they're having a look back. Why? Because Carl is involved in other takeovers. He is involved in the revival, the takeover of Caesars Entertainment Corp. And so let's just go through this today and see, what we actually see, and find out what in the world would cause individuals to put this up and why you're not involved, why you are not in the know. So about the time the press talked about it, it was like another war of northern aggression. What? What are you talking about? Back in tried to take control of a 100-year-old textile mill called Dan River Mills, located in Danville, Virginia. So what are they saying? Another war of northern aggression. People felt like when this guy comes in and starts buying up stock. Notice what happens. The corporate raiders sieged less than a year, and he was only repelled when the entire town banded together to buy shares of the company. Are you hearing this? So the entire town in Danville. Now look, y'all, I'm not a resident. I live here, but I'm not a native. I didn't know all of this took place, that the whole town banded together in order to try to keep a raider, a corporate raider, from taking over Dan Mills. I'm saying I've read a book about Dan Mills, the history of Dan River Mills, and it's just unbelievable how they got on the stock market and all that. At the time, the press talked about it as it was another war of northern aggression back in 1982. This was nothing like the now 77-year-old Ichan's current fights with fellow hedge fund manager Bill Ackman or Dell founder Michael Dell. So he's been fighting with Michael Dell as well. Michael Dell has been trying to buy up stations like this one, like Channel 18, so that he can have the bandwidth or cell phone, sell it back to the government. So here's what was taking place. Now remember, this is a 2013 article. Icahn is 77 years old there. Now here we are at 2020, and so he is 84 years old now. And the picture that I showed you a moment ago, this is a picture of him. The pictures that you saw when I was doing the welcome back slide, that was a picture of him now. And he was again, we're going to show you this, he's again in the news, and this time they're talking about Caesars. So in Danville, automobile and appliance salesmen offered shares of the company with purchases, and local businesses paid millions for full-page newspaper ads reading "Keep Dan River at Home, buy Dan River stock." Do you remember that? I don't know anything about it. But if you remember it, here's the thing I can't understand. Why is it that people are not buying newspaper ads and commercials to keep Icahn out of Danville, keep Caesars out of Danville? It's the same guy all over again. You see him up there in the corner? That look he's got? That's the way he was pictured in the article where it talks about him taking over Dan River Mills. Now, if you had people back then that were spending millions of dollars for full-page newspaper ads, who in the world, where are these people? Why are they not fighting back now? They're, in fact, whether they know it or not, do you think they know it? Now, we have our phone lines up, and if you know someone in Danville that will call me and talk to me about the city council and let's find out if it is the case. Now, this will end up replaying, so don't be calling the station at 11 o'clock tonight. But you can call me. Let me just see where I put that slide. You can call me, and I will still answer my phone, 276-806-2150. If you have some information about this, 276-806-2150 at 11 o'clock tonight, then that's fine. Now, if you want to call somebody in Danville now, or if you're a person here in Martinsville and you know the history and you want to comment on this, the phone calls or the phone lines are open. This is a live broadcast, and we're delving into the history. And y'all, we have a lot of information that you're just not going to believe. Do you know if these guys know that the individual that destroyed Dan River Mills is in fact back in Dan River Mills, right there in the area. And so you're saying, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? If you don't know about this, you are totally just in the dark, and I just can't believe it. So here we are. We're looking at the reason why Carl is back in town. Are you excited that he's back in town? Why in the world, just ask yourself, why in the world would Lawrence Campbell Jr., why would he bring Carl Icahn back into town? Why would Alonzo Jones? Now, I don't know how old the mayor is, but I know that Mr. Saunders is old enough definitely to remember Dan River Mills and all of it that went on. First person that became a member of the Church of Christ in Danville, Virginia, when I first started working here in 2005, started working there in 2005. She was a former employee of Dan River Mills, and her name was Neva Lee, and she knew Lawrence Campbell. She knew Lawrence Campbell Sr., actually, if she was old enough to have gone to school with him, and so she tried to introduce me to him, and he wouldn't come out of his office, and so you can't hide behind your offices and wherever you are right now. This is way too much for the community to sit by and just let happen. These individuals need to be talked to. They need to be questioned. Why is it that they even have this on the ballot right now? Have we not seen enough? Have y'all not seen enough in your area where you don't want to see this happen again? So let's continue to read this. This was nothing like what was going on back then. He says this is nothing like now 77-year-old Icah's current fights. What does that mean? It was worse. Could it be worse? Are you telling me that Michael Dell, the owner of Dell Computers, is not putting up the fight that Dan River Mills put up in the city of Danville? I didn't write this article. It's Business Insider. It's their website. But what in the world must y'all have seen is my question. Y'all must have been, it said laid siege. Let's see, the siege lasted less than a year. What could be so bad? I'm saying, what could happen that would be so bad in less than a year? What in the world kind of man is this guy that they're calling a corporate raider, and he's in a fight with Bill Ackman and Dell founder Michael Dell? What's going on? Well, it's not as bad as what was going on in Danville. So if that's how it is, then why are y'all taking this laying down? If it was really that bad, where Business Insider, this is a nationwide entity, people read this all over the nation. He is a figure that is known all over the nation. He came down here from New York, or came to Danville from New York, and fought it out. The raider still lingers in the town's memory. Really? If he still lingers in the town's memory, then why in the world is the town bringing in Caesar's Casino? Well, maybe it's because they don't know. Seriously? You get to tell me that your city council does not know that Icahn is one of the major stockholders in Caesars Entertainment. Well, you might say, well, he was a stockholder in Caesars Entertainment Corp. That's true. He was a 28 or 29% stockholder. Well, he's not a stockholder in the new one. Oh, no? Well, we just have to investigate it, because somebody's got to bring some of this information out. Somebody's got to tell you the truth. And who's telling the truth? The raid still lingers in the town's memory. In an article about the mill written only 2 years ago, former employees remember the raid and the raider. Okay, so this must be the WSLS Channel 10's article. You know, when I've read this several times, I didn't really know what they said when they said it still lingers 2 years ago. So evidently, in 2012, WSLS did a follow-up, and here's quotes. Now, Icahn was the worst. This is a quote. You had your ups and downs, but the period of fighting Icahn was probably most intense, said Rodney Reynolds, who retired as senior vice president and chief financial. Now, I don't know where Rodney Reynolds is. I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's still living. But he's saying it was the worst. Icahn was the worst. Icahn started building up a position in Dan River in September of 1982, about right now. How about that? About this same time, 1982, 92, 2000, 82 to 92, 2012, so that is 18 years, something like that. 82 to 92, that's 10. 92 to 2012, that's another 10. And so this is 2020, that's going to be 18 years. So 18 years ago is what we're talking about. Icahn started building up a position in Dan River in September of 1982. 18 years ago, he was doing this. And guess what? 18 years later, he is back again, and y'all are going to hand him over the keys to the city? Really? I do not understand this, and I don't understand individuals who do not know what's going on. They're just sitting by, and they're watching this happen, and a lot of people are saying, bring it on. So we got two segments tonight. The first segment is we're investigating the news. The second segment is we're going to hear and we're going to dissect a report that was done by Fourth Economy for the Danville, for the DFR. I just have been on this all day long. Dan River Foundation, DRF, Dan River Foundation. Dan River Foundation is a foundation that has the endowment or the money that came from the sale of Danville Regional Hospital, and they are involved in bringing in the casino. They're doing reports on it. They have, the Fourth Economy has done a report. It's a video report with a slideshow. Our second hour, that's what we're going to look at. Our first hour, we're going to look into whether or not this is really true. Okay, so 18 years ago, he started building up a position in Dan River in September of 82 when the stock price was only $15 a share. So $15 a share. And in October, the company started issuing 1.7 million shares, preferred stock, to employees in an attempt to dilute Icahn's voting power, according to the Christian Science Monitor. Now, let's see. I'm actually getting a text that I wanted to. Okay, you just have to bear with me. This is a media outlet. I'm good. I've got to catch up with these guys. This is a media outlet in Danville that's talking to me right now. I'm going to have to send him proof. He doesn't believe that he's not watching the show. So I'm going to have to send him my YouTube URL. Give me a second. It's not like we're really worried about. Okay. Okay, let me close that. Can you, this is just simply amazing to me that we're able to do something like this. We're able to do in live, in real time. We are back and forth with a media outlet in Danville, and I'm talking to the media outlet in Danville, and he's basically saying that he does not think that Carl Icahn is involved in Danville at all anymore, and I just cannot believe that folk have I don't know, 276, what are we, 656? No, we want to be 2255. All right, so let's see if we get that. And Carl Icahn is, in fact, now if he clicked on that, we're going to show that he is involved right now. And let's see, where was that? I'm going to have to go backwards. We're just saying right now, this is the now Carl Icahn. He is a 10% stockholder in the new Caesars. He was a 28 or 29% stockholder in the old Caesars, and they have merged with El Dorado, and now they have the new Caesars, and the city council is bringing them back into town. What in the world? And my friend in the news media in Danville is telling me, and I quote, he says, he remembers him, I guess. Did you know Icahn has been big time involved with the Caesars Casino? He said somewhat, but he's nowhere close to the Danville proposal. He may have financial interest. I'll look into that. You don't have to look into it. We're showing it right now. You're going to see it just bold and upfront tonight as we go through this. But the first thing that we're doing is we're setting the stage. We're reminding you of the things that took place. All right, so what did he start doing? In 82, when stock prices were 15, he started trying to buy up stocks. So what did Dan River do? What did the Mill do? Now, y'all, I know this played out on Channel 18. Is Charles still here? So I have a name here, a woman, I believe, that used to call in to Charles's show all the time, and she was telling what was going on, and no one believed her. And so I'm going to look ahead right quick and see if I can find her name. I think her name is Diane. Let's see right quick. That's what I hate about. All right, her name is Rains, Diane Rains. So is Daniel in here or back there somewhere? Diane Rains. There used to be a lady that was actually in the clerk's office, or she was in the financial office, and she was telling, I believe that she said, that I was told she was telling this station about the receipts that were coming in to be paid, accounts receivable, and it was unreal the money that was going out to New York lawyers trying to fight this guy. And so we're reading from WSLS 10. They did a follow-up on this in 2011, I believe it would be. And so we're reading it right now. And what did Dan Rivers do? The Mill started issuing their own stock to employees in order to dilute Icahn's voting power, according to the Christian Science Monitor. Now, by November, Icahn owned 15% of the company and offered $16.50 for 2 million shares, just under 50% of the company. He was rejected. Now, y'all, that does not happen very often. Never daunted, he increased his bid to $18 a share. It was running at $15 when he got in September of 82. He ups it. Can you imagine making $3 a share on your shares? And the dude's got 2 million shares. So let's see if I got that wrong. Let's see if Dan River. All right, Dan River issued 1.7 million shares to dilute his the amount of shares that Icahn had, because he's going to end up being over a 50% shareholder. So he buys up, or he offers 2 million shares at $16.50. So this is just unreal. He was rejected. Never daunted, he increased his bid to $18 a share and was rejected yet again in December. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Icahn was making moves. As his offers were getting trashed by Dan Rivers' board, he was bringing his stake in the company up to 19.2%. At one point, just behind this lower third here, I have, let's see, I think I can enlarge this. We'll just actually see if it'll come up. I'm not sure if it did. How about that? At one point, he increased his stake to 29% of the company. Look at that. That's what actually took place in front of y'all. Now, let me play this explosion again, and I want to hear these groans. Is that how y'all felt? I'm not talking about when they imploded those smokestacks. I'm talking about right here. When Carl Icahn gained 29% of the company behind your backs, while these individuals are not paying attention, and you end up all losing your jobs. Now, that is enough to make you groan, is it not? Now, let's look at this. This is actually off the AP at the same time. Other newspapers, Milwaukee Journal was covering y'all's news, y'all. Here is this guy. He is buying up all of the stocks. He's going to take over Dan River, and he owns 29% at this point. He has made a mess of the company, and people in Milwaukee are reading about it. Let's read this together. Let's see. I like this, but I don't. All right, Dan River Incorporated says its directors rejected investor Carl C. Icahn's sweetened offer to buy 2 million shares of the textile company's common stock. The board found the offer of $18 a share by Icahn and 3 companies he controlled as unfair and not in the best interest of the stockholders or the corporation, Dan River said. The board also announced that Dan River thus far had bought 422,400 shares of its own stock at an average price between $17 and $18 a share in an effort to foil Icahn's bid for increased control of the company. Now, listen, y'all, that's y'all. That's Danville in the news. Now, all of the people over here who drove to Danville, I know they were driving to Danville. I actually talked to the bus driver who was busing people in a big old huge Greyhound type bus every day from Martinsville over to Danville so that they could have workers, more workers than they had in Danville. And I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just simply amazed at the enormity of this story and the business that no longer exists, and the fact that people sit by and they didn't even know what was going on, and this guy just about took over, and he was rejected. One of the few times that that's ever happened. All right, let's see. Now then, if I can get my slides to work again. Now, the town retaliated to all of this by hiring New York law firm Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison. All right, so what do? You get a New York law firm. Well, what are you doing? You got a New York raider, corporate raider. He owns 28% of the stock. He is offering stock, and he's trying to take over. And so you hire somebody from New York, come in and fix this situation, and file a lawsuit against Icahn, charging him with racketeering in a Virginia court. Now, this is from the New York Times in October of '82. In a complaint filed here in Federal District Court for the Western District of Virginia, Dan River charged that Mr. Icahn had acquired its stock with proceeds derived through prior acts of extortion, mail fraud, and securities fraud. That's a quote. Whoa, now wait a minute. Those are some serious, serious charges. So the Danville Mills, the Dan River Mills, has the money to secure lawyers from New York, and they actually have the fortitude to accuse Carl Icahn, 46-year-old racketeer. He was not known as a racketeer. He was known as a raider, corporate raider, taking over corporations and unseating the corporate CEOs and whatnot, and setting it up where I don't know what all he ends up doing. He ends up sometimes taking them apart and selling them. In a complaint, Dan River is the latest victim of Icahn's tactics. The complaint charges Icahn and his group have already successfully dislodged over $83 million from various American corporations in the last 2 months alone. Man, who is this guy? Well, here's the question. It isn't who is he. The question is, who in the world would let him back in such a fashion? Now, I don't know if the gentleman in Danville actually got on and is watching or not, but we're going to prove that Icahn is a big player in Caesars right now, and there is no doubt about it that there's something going on in his mind. It can't be a nostalgia. What do you think he's thinking about Dan River? What do you think he's thinking about getting to build a casino right on the very site where he was rejected, called a racketeer, and accused of being involved in mail fraud, securities fraud, and extortion, and accused of taking $83 million from various American corporations in the last 2 months alone? If that's true, if there's even a smidgen of just a tiny bit of truth from that, let's just say it's $18 million back in 1982. We're talking about some serious money in $82. If he was that powerful back then why in the world is it the case that these guys are involved in letting him get back in to the Danville area? Well, how is he involved? Keep staying with me. All right, here's Icahn's response. in 1982. I consider it an abomination that a company's management should resort to these gutter and smear tactics. Mr. Icahn said in a statement. These allegations are completely unfounded and are simply designed to dissuade me from continuing my interest in the company. None of this stopped the onslaught, of course. So now this WSLS Channel 10 that was putting this on was going back and having a look back into this. So the Dan River went for the potentially nuclear option. Now, y'all, you might be looking at this and you might be saying, you know, these business terms, they kind of throw me off just a little bit. And I'm with you on that. But I am not willing to concede that that is a business term. I think that they're using nuclear in the way that nuclear is used. So Dan River went for the potentially nuclear option. What are we talking about? In January, the company's board got permission to form a separate private employee corporation to buy the company. What? All right, you go from putting $1 million ads in the newspaper, trying to get people to buy stock. You have automobile companies that are giving away stock with purchase of an automobile, and appliance companies giving away stock along with the appliance purchases. They're trying to shore up Dan River Mills because if it leaves, if it goes under, it's going to completely destroy the economy of Danville. So you go from $1 million ads and giveaways of stocks, and now you're offering, the company's board is getting a permission to form a separate private employee-owned corporation to buy the company. By February, Chemical Bank had signed on to provide $150 million loan it would take to purchase it. So they're borrowing money from a bank in order to start a separate private employee-owned corporation. How about that? You go from this huge successful company, you're on the New York Stock Exchange, and you got Carl Icahn swoop in here, and he ends up with 28% of the stock. And the upsetting every financial, economical ideal that they had for the future. Now, notice this. So we're asking ourselves the question about this business about the nuclear option, because I really want to get into that. Let me just see what's going on with my slide presentation. And that was not what I wanted to do. Some of the times when you have so many options, it ends up being difficult to actually figure out what's going on. Now, this option was nuclear because the loan would be and was crushing for the company. I told you, this is not a term that has anything to do with finance. It is really nuclear in the bomb sense. It crushed the company. It was crushing for the company, bringing Dan River's debt to equity ratio from 49% to 125%. Now listen, and they tell you that your debt to equity is 125% over what you actually have in equity. That's terrible. You're not going to get a loan. I don't know how in the world that they were able to borrow themselves this deep in debt. Their debt to equity ratio was 49%. Everybody knows that that's not bad. Half of your debt is, you could actually get rid of your debt with half of your equity. So that's not, you're in good shape. And you go from that to 125%, you're out. You're over the limit here. There is no way. Now, this came from WSLS. It was survival, quotes. Recalled Odell W. Hudson Jr., who worked as an engineer in the maintenance department, about the employees' ownership plan. So he's just saying it was survival. In the 1980s, business got tough with the plant shutdowns and a cutback on employee hours and some layoffs, Hudson said. Now, this is just simply amazing to me that I'm getting to participate in this, in the sense that you already know about it. Now, I'm going to bring in something here where we're about to start the real investigation. All I've done so far is give you PTSD, take you back to the past, blast to the past, but we're going to start opening up now the facts to be able to show that this is what's going on. So right now, the deal that is taking place, we're talking about sound familiar, where individuals are going into debt to the point of 125% debt to equity. Sale of Caesars for $17.3 billion. Now, once the sale takes place, Caesars sold last year, and it was finalized, I believe, in the merger took place between Eldorado Casinos and Caesars in January. And so the sale was $17.3 billion. This is Las Vegas Review-Journal. Caesar execs to get pay raises as thousands furloughed or laid off. So what we're actually seeing is whatever's going on here, right in the midst of it. This is an article that is an article that is recent, that is looking into this, and recently, as in June, the execs are going to get pay raises, and 90% of their employees were furloughed. CEO Tom Riggs approved base salary jump to $2 million after the company closed a $17.3 billion acquisition of Caesars Entertainment Corp. Earlier this month. His base salary as the CEO of now defunct Eldorado Resorts Incorporated in 2019 was 25% lower at $1.6 million, according to the SEC filing. Now, that was the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Let's corroborate our information with the Wall Street Journal. Now, the Wall Street Journal basically comes in and says they're going to break it down for us. An $8.58 billion cash and stock merger of Eldorado Resorts Incorporated and Caesars Entertainment Corp. Closed Monday, forging the largest casino operator in the U.S. amid uncertainty across the industry over the continuing spread of COVID-19. So here's what you have. In June, you have all of this going on in 2019. And you have us here in Virginia. We're having a vote about gambling. The state of Virginia is looking all at gambling, and all of this is going on at the same time. And Carl Icahn is right up here in the middle of it. Now let's look at debt to equity just a minute. Notice what it goes on to say. The deal creating Caesars Entertainment Incorporated, they're forging a brand new entity, also included about $8.8 billion worth of original Caesars debt. Now let's just look at that. 8.58 and 8.8 equals 17.3. Is that the math? That is the math. That's what this journal said. Las Vegas Review-Journal. They actually gave the numbers at $17.3 billion, but they didn't give a breakdown. They just told us that the execs are getting a big raise and people are getting laid off, going to get laid off. So here we come. We're looking at this, $8.8 billion worth of Caesars original debt, which is being assumed by the combined entity. The combined company has more than 50 casinos in 16 U.S. states, leading the industry in addition to locations in Dubai and England and different places. So 17.3, 8.8 of it is in fact debt. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a company that is not in that really, I have no idea. I would never be able to be involved in these kind of finances, but I'm saying I'm going to buy something and assume $8.8 billion in debt. That's exactly what you're hearing. Now, what does that have to do with us? What does it have to do with us? Y'all, are we just like, sometimes I just think people are just deaf or asleep. Listen to this. Look at this. That's exactly what you should be saying right now. The city council is bringing Caesars back in here, or up in here, and they do not know that Carl Icahn is involved in both of these. The merger that resulted in $17.3 billion for Caesars Inc. No, he's nowhere. I'm sitting here. I'm not going to use this gentleman's name, but I'm sitting here reading a media outlet tell me that Danville, he says, Icahn may have financial interests, and I'll look into that, but he's nowhere close to Danville. Hello? He's nowhere close? If this dude is even remotely paying attention, you know that he is looking at this and he is drooling. He cannot believe that fate has happened the way it is. What are you talking about, fate? Listen, y'all, 18 years ago, this guy was the reason why those smokestacks that we just saw imploding were imploding. He bought 28% of Dan River Mills, and he ended up ruining it to the point that they go in and they make a loan. They get a loan that puts them in a position to have a 125% debt to equity. You cannot operate like that. I don't know what kind of plan they must have had that they thought that they would be able to dig themselves out of this. And so let's continue with the article. What ends up taking place? Well, here's what takes place. The fear that Icahn would take over lasted about a year. Recall Diane Raines. Now, I would be interested to hear if Charles remembers this woman's name, because there was a woman that was telling another gentleman. Is another gentleman in Danville that would call into the show. That's how it went. The man would call in the show. He would tell Charles what was going on in the financial office, and no one believed it. And this woman was giving another individual in Danville this information. So Diane Raines, who worked as an invoice clerk, what am I telling you? She was seeing the invoices that were coming in, and there was no way that they were going to be able to pay their bills. You got all these lawyers. It was scary when the Carl Icahn thing was going on, Raines said. Dan River tapped employee pension money, sold off collateral assets, took Chemical Bank's crushing loan in order to wrest control from Icahn. Eventually, after all the dust settled and lawyers flew back to New York City, Diane Raines is seeing all of these invoices come through. Icahn made $8 million, and Dan River stayed in the hands of locals. But look at their debt. 125% debt to equity. It really wasn't in their hands at all. It was a nuclear loan. It crushed them. It is said, however, that the debt Dan River took on to stave off Icahn made it hard to modernize. Now, the mill was bought by 3 businessmen in 1989. So here we are 7 years later, rallied profits through the 90s, but filed bankruptcy in 2004. Dan River's last plant closed in 2007. So, y'all, there's your information right there. It just doesn't get any clearer than that as far as what took place back then. I hope you can see that. Let me just see if I can open that just a little bit and then still bring it back down so that we can see that. 2089, 2004, plant closed in 2007. I know why I missed this. I moved back to the Marshall Islands in 2002, and I came back home in 2004 in September, so I pretty much missed all of that goings on. The big time trouble that they were having through the bankruptcy, and I was here in 2007. I don't remember all of that either. I was working in Martinsville at the time, and so that's pretty amazing. So in case you're wondering whether or not Icahn ever loses, the answer is yes, he does. Does he? You think about Icahn right now, as he is a big player in the Caesars Casino, and Caesars Casino is slated to put their new casino in Schofield, where Dan River Mills was sitting. Now, but that doesn't mean his opponent will survive the battle. He was staved off. He did have to give up, but his opponent, they did not last. They did not survive the battle. All right, here we are now. Let's bring ourselves up to date. Eldorado finishes the 17.3 buyout of Caesars Entertainment Corp. This is Finance and Commerce. This article was submitted July the 21st, 2020. Are we getting up to date now, y'all? So here's the question. Is Icahn involved in Caesars? Is he involved in Eldorado? Well, let's just see what the article says. Trading under the Caesar stock symbol, CZR, will begin Tuesday, said Anthony Carreno, company president and chief operating officer, president of Caesars Entertainment Incorporated. We're excited as a company and a family to lead such an iconic gambling company with 80,000 team members all over the country, Carreno says. Now, excuse me, we just read an article that demonstrated that they laid off 90% of their employees. So I don't know if it's 90% of this 80,000. I don't know, but I do know they gave Tom Reggs a huge raise, brought his salary up to $2 million right in the middle of the corona. The company plans to shed several properties to satisfy the antitrust concerns raised before approvals were granted by the Federal Trade Commission and regulators in Indiana and New Jersey. In Nevada, executives have said they may sell at least one Las Vegas Strip property. Now, Carreno acknowledged, let's see if I have another, he acknowledged the combined company now carries $13 billion in debt and has billions in additional obligations to VICI Properties and another real estate investment trust, Gaming and Leisure Property Incorporated. Now here we go. Here we go. We have all these individuals telling us that they need to vote yes to bring in Caesars Entertainment Incorporated, the new incorporated Caesars. It's going to be great for Danville. And we're sitting right here seeing current news being spread all over the United States, and it is telling us that this company has $13 billion in debt, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. And they're putting out these talking points. Let me see if I can get over here to another slide where I can see the talking points that they continue to put out. It's just, for me, it is simply unbelievable that anybody believes any of this. But, you know, I'm not, as I said, I am not an individual who is a native. So when it comes to what you all will believe and what you will put up with as far as the truth, I just really don't know. It just boggles my mind because I'm in the religious sector. And when we're looking at the religious sector, it is just simply unbelievable that people will believe the things that they believe. Now, I have it in this PowerPoint, but I'm not going to go to it right now, but I'm going to show you it to you in a bit. The talking points that are continuously put out there by WSLS, they're one of the ones that is advertising for this. All these $400 million building project, 1,300 jobs, these high-paying salaries. We're going to go into that. We have a YouTube video that came from the Danville Regional Foundation where they had a fourth corporation, it's a group from Pennsylvania, come in and do a report, actually take 6 months to get all this information together about bringing a casino to Danville. It's a dismal report if you ask me, very dismal. I doubt that you heard it. And so you're hearing right now that they have in additional obligations. He said the company was in great financial position as Caesars going forward from here and will reduce debt. Properties outside the U.S. will likely be sold, he said. The New Jersey Casino Control Commission approved the deal Friday after the combined company announced sales of Bally's Atlantic City. That will leave Caesars Entertainment, Missouri, South Lake Tahoe, California, Shreveport, Louisiana. Reg told Indiana regulators that the casino in Evansville and Elizabeth, that's Indiana, would likely be sold with the sale of casino in Hammond possible. In Las Vegas, the combined company now owns Caesars Palace, Paris, Las Vegas, Planet Hollywood, Harrah's, Las Vegas, the Flamingo, Ling Hotel, Cromwell, Bally's, and Rio off the Strip. And one of the largest employers, it will be one of the largest employers in Nevada. And now, what does that have to do with you? Here it's what it has to do with you. Next slide, please. Now, y'all have a look at that and see that why this has deteriorated, because when we started out, you could actually read these slides, and I'm not sure what has taken place. It could be billionaire investor Carl Icahn will be the largest shareholder with more than, and I've got to see what that is, more than 10%. My mouse pad is really touchy. And so when I try to make it larger, it just refuses to do it incrementally in such a way that I can let you see the side over there that's missing. So the only thing that I know to do is to go out for a minute and try to fix it. Which throws me off. So I'm just going to read it to you, and there's really no point in doing it this way. Let's see what's going on. All right, 10% of the combined company and 3 members. I evidently moved that without meaning to. I'm going to Move it over just a little bit to keep it from doing what it's doing. And now we'll go back to it and let's see if I can enlarge it. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn will be the largest single shareholder with more than 10% of the combined company and 3 members on the new company board, Carvana says. Now, let's go back. Is it the case that Icahn is involved in the new entity that we're talking about right here? Absolutely, he's involved. Right here at the bottom, can you remove that lower third for me just a minute? Right at the bottom is Carl Icahn's name. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn will be the largest shareholder. Now I have it here in a larger fashion. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn will be the largest single shareholder with more than 10% of the combined company. So you're telling me that Caesars Entertainment, Inc., that Carl Icahn is actually the largest single shareholder, and he has more than 10% of the combined company and 3 members on the new company board. So how is it that a Danville news outlet is telling me right now that Carl Icahn is nowhere near any of this proposal, when I'm sitting here showing you a recent Finance and Commerce, recent as July the 21st, 2020, this came out that Carl Icahn is involved in the new Caesars. He is the largest shareholder, and he has more than 3 seats on the company board. Icahn acquired a large block of Caesars shares after the company emerged from bankruptcy protection in 2017. Carvana called the financier an integral to the merger. Eldorado founder Don Carano, he's dead now, and his family developed a winemaking and casino empire that grew into 26 gambling properties and more than 18,000 employees in 12 states before the buyout. Carano died in 2017, and his grandson Anthony counted 9 family members still involved in the company affairs. Caesars Entertainment had some 65,000 employees before the casino closure in March due to the coronavirus pandemic, including 30,000 in Nevada. Most of the properties have reopened. I don't really think they are. The merger also involved properties in Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Mississippi, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. Now, let's enlarge this just a little bit. Here's the thing. Are you going to believe this or not? You're sitting here looking, I know you can see that now. Carl Icahn will be the largest single shareholder. Shareholder in what? He acquired a large block of Caesar shares after the company went bankrupt. And he had 29% of the company. And that's how he ends up getting into this merger with Eldorado, is because he was such a large shareholder back then, and he is still a large shareholder in the new entity that is coming to Danville. Now, somebody needs to get on the phone. Now, I know that it's possible. Listen, y'all, this is difficult. What we're doing right here is difficult. For me to go from this to this is very difficult. It may be that I can get a little bit better at this, but I'm saying, y'all, I don't have producers like the news stations have, where they actually do this behind the scene. I do have producers, but this is my equipment right here. I'm actually working with my own equipment, and I'm trying to show you things that I'm telling you people are denying right now. As we're sitting here talking, I'm being told that my information is not correct. And I'm telling you, I sent the individual my live link where he can watch the show. It might be choppy, and I may be difficult to follow. And anybody else? You got anybody else giving you information? Are you checking up behind these guys? Or everybody just falling in line to get this casino in November the 3rd? Vote yes, and you get this thing into play, and everything's going to be sunny. Yeah, sunny. You know what? You got Carl Icahn sitting right up here. Iconic. That's not the way he spells his name. It's behind these iconic smokestacks, and he is laughing up his sleeve at the fact that he is about to be back in the Danville market. He's the largest stockholder, one of the largest stockholders. Let's look at that again. He's the largest single shareholder with more than 10% of the combined company and 3 members on the new company board. How about that? Now, let's keep going, because that's, you might say, some missing info here. You know, I know that there's something missing. Well, that's possible. And here it is. Now, I don't know how you say this news. I've always heard, could be Reuters. I mean, who knows? I'm not in this, in the media, entertainment, gaming, none of this, but I can read. September 29, 2017, Hail Caesars, casino giant back in the bond game. Well, what are we talking about? This is an article that was put out in 2017, and it is about the bankruptcy that we just got through reading about, how that Carl Icahn got back in control after the bankruptcy protection in late 2017. What does that mean? They're back in the stock market. What? That's right. That's what's missing, is you just don't know what's been going on behind the scenes with Caesars, and you lost contact with Carl Icahn. You don't know what he's been up to. He's been fighting Michael Dell. He's been involved in these mergers. He's involved in getting these folks out of bankruptcy. And now he's helped them merge Eldorado and Caesars. Caesars Entertainment Corp is dead. Caesars Entertainment Inc. is in play, and he has 3 seats on the board, and y'all are inviting him right back into Danville again. And you don't even know it. Now, Charles, I would like to know if you would like for me to mention your competitor. I'm kind of holding back right now. All right, so here's one of your, I'm just going to give you that and let you see the Facebook personality that I'm talking to. Mm-hmm. He says that Icahn is not involved in any fashion in this deal. And I'm sitting here showing, yes.
Yeah.
So,
say hi to Bruce.
All right, so I just went ahead and broke out the name of this individual. Trying to get him to call in. I sent him the link to my live show. So that's Bruce Hedrick. He's running Southside. Is it called Southside Live? And so I'm going to just, I hate to do this to individuals, but I said to him, did you know Icahn has been big time involved with Caesars Casino? He said, somewhat, but he's nowhere close to Danville proposal. Oh, yeah? I'm sitting here showing it to you right now. He is close to the Danville. He may have financial interest in that, and I'll look into that. How about you watch What Does the Bible Say show, and you can follow my lead here and go back and look at all of these articles that are being put out there where Carl Icahn ends up being the 10%, has 10% combined company and 3 members on the new company board, and the company is coming to Danville. Well, at least if you vote yes, he is. And I would like to know if Bruce is going to vote yes, or is he opposed to this? And so there's the missing information. This is how Carl Icahn got involved in this. He involved himself in the buyout, and this article actually talks about casino giant Caesars going into a hearty welcome back to the bond market on Friday. It's U.S. $1.7 billion junk bond offer, part of a much larger financing for the company's reorganization price at a yield of 5.25%. So here we go. So Carl Icahn is back in play. He gets involved with Caesars as a result of their bankruptcy. He buys up a lot of the shares, and he helps them reorganize into Caesars Entertainment Corp. Well, now he is a 29% owner of Caesars Entertainment Corp. And what does he want to do? He wants to do the same thing he's wanting to do to Dan River Mills. He's wanting to get in the leadership so that he can restructure this thing and begin to make money, or to take over it and dismember it. I don't know what his plans are all the time. I don't know what, I know he's a raider. He sometimes sells off stuff. He sometimes replaces the CEO, which he did in this particular instance. So now, where is he? Caesars Entertainment Board frustrated with billionaire Carl Icahn regarding acquisition prices. That sounds like Dan River. The board at Dan River was not only frustrated, they were just simply overcome and horrified with the fact that while they weren't looking, thinking that they were diluting his plan in 1982, the dude had bought up 28% of their shares. And so here he is again. And the Caesars Entertainment Board of Directors have become frustrated with billionaire Carl Icahn over potential selling price of the casino and selling price of the casino operator that owns its namesake brand, as well as Harrah's, Bolly's, and Horseshoe properties across the U.S. Well, let's see what's going on. We're here. Carl is back, and we've got Carl. Really, this is that article we started out with from 2013, the time Carl Icahn fought an entire Virginia town and lost. Is he going to lose this time? Well, it depends on how y'all vote. if you vote the same way that you acted back then, with your hands over your eyes and your hands over your ears and not paying attention to what's going on. Now, I'm saying right here, y'all, this is the opportunity where individuals participate. Now, you really have a chance to participate. Am I making this up? Or is this is casino.org? You want to find out what's going on in the casino world? You don't need to be listening to Dan River Foundation if you want to know what's going on in the casino world. You get on casino.org and you will see so many corruptions. We're looking at it right here. Casino parking garage continue to be setting for violent crime. Next article, Boyd Gaming to pay $300,000 fine for detaining handcuffing wrong Fremont casino player. Next one, Caesar offers transformational value, sports betting spin-off possible before year end. Seriously, before this year? So you can see what's going on right here. Are you going to look into this? Caesars Entertainment Board frustrated with billionaire Carl Icahn regarding acquisition prices. All you have to do is go into your internet search and search casino.org. Once you get there, you go into the search bar at the top and you see it right there. You go into that search bar and you put in what we have right here, Caesars Entertainment Board frustrated. That's all you have to put in to that search bar and you will get this article. When is the article? June 18th, 2019. This is when all the stuff was going on here in Danville. Individuals were going through all of these options about what to do, and they were having their reports done, and now all of that has taken place. And while that was going on, Carl Icahn was in the business of getting rid of Casino El Dorado and Caesars Entertainment Corp. And merging them to make Caesars Entertainment Inc. And you didn't know it. That's exactly right. You didn't know it. You don't know he's involved. He's back. Is anybody welcoming him in? Absolutely. Here's the individuals who are welcoming him in. The question is, on November the 3rd, are you going to welcome him in? Are you ready for the other smokestacks and the groaning to start? Now, when y'all finally wake up on November the 3rd, or November the 4th, and you realize that you have let this dude get back in here, and now he has 3 seats on the board. He never got 3 seats on the board of Dan River Mills, but Dan River Mills actually borrowed enough money. Do you think that, did he hang up?
No, that was Danny.
Okay, all right, so.
Bruce hadn't called yet?
No.
Come on, Bruce.
So, here's the thing. When Dan River Mills was messing with Icahn back then, he never had a seat on the board. He has 3 seats on the board. And that groaning, I mean, I just cannot get over this video. Let me bring this one back up. And let's play these two together again, because y'all just have got to hear these groans together. Oh, you know what? Did you read that article with me earlier? The article said in 2013, when Dan River Mills borrowed from $150 million, it was a nuclear loan. It was a bomb. Did you hear that bomb just go off? Oh, that's what everybody was doing. They were moaning and groaning because of Carl Icahn. He ruined Dan River Mills and their plan to try to get themselves out of a debt. It did not work. They sold it to 3 other businessmen, and what happened? Bankruptcy. And now you're seeing these towers come down, these smokestacks come down. And what are we doing? We're watching as these same individuals are bringing Carl Icahn right back into Caesars Entertainment Incorporated. Now, there's not a person, there is no one that can prove that this is incorrect. This is what is going on. It's all over the internet. It's all over casino.org. If you just look at it, there's more than one article, and I'm serving this stuff up to you. This is just, somebody really should say thank you for this information. Thank you for this warning. I won't get any thanks. I'll probably end up hearing from one of their lawyers before it's all said and done. And so here we are. The news, let's just see how big he is. The news comes from New York Post Josh Kosman, who has broken several updates on Caesar acquisition process. Icahn has acquired 28.5% stake in the casino giant. Now, you were reading a minute ago that he had 10%. We're reading now about the one that merged. That was Caesars Entertainment Corp. Just follow with me. What does corp mean? It's C-O-R-P-S, corpse. Just think like that. It means dead. He had 28.5% in stocks or in shares, and that company merged with Eldorado. And as a result of his stake, the amount of shares that he had, he comes out with 10% in the new entity, Caesars Entertainment, Inc., and he has 3 seats on the board. Kosman relays that Icahn is more eager to sell the company than the majority of those on the 11-person board. Eldorado Resorts is the front runner to acquire the larger Caesars, but the two parties have yet to settle on a price that appeases both sides. Icahn has agreed that Eldorado's $10.50 offer, which represents a measly 15% premium over the stock, was unacceptable. But he is also willing to accept less than the board is now seeking, sources explained to Kosman. Since acquiring a considerable position in Caesar, Icahn has been pushing for the company to sell. He's been offered 3 seats on the board and handpicked the new CEO, Tony Rodeo, to lead the company in the interim. So they make the sale. Tony Rodeo is out. Tom Reggs is in. Tom Reggs lays off 90% of the employees and gives himself a raise from $1.6 million to $2 million. And they're ready to land in Danville. And the Danville leadership is ready to welcome him in November 3rd. Vote yes. Vote no. Seriously? Do you not realize the fiasco that you're setting yourself up for? Well, maybe you don't. And that's fine, because probably you haven't listened to the report. We've got to move on, y'all. We're going to listen to the Dan River Foundation's video report that they paid, I have no idea what for. I know that I've found Fourth Economy doing a report for Rhode Island, $45,000 for their report. So this guy had 29% before, and he killed Dan River Mills. You just might as well say it. He killed it. He didn't acquire it, but he killed it with 29%. He has 28.5% and 3 seats on the board of Caesars Entertainment, Inc., and you're bringing him to Danville. I don't know what in the world could possibly be in anybody's mind that would allow such a thing to happen. So let's move to the second segment of our broadcast. So let me see here. I need to take a break, and we'll just let their commercial. Now, when you think about us, what do you think? We're giving their commercial a play? Yes, we are, because we don't think this thing has a chance. Are we going to hear that groaning again? That's exactly what you're about to do. That casino is not going to look anything like this. Not only that you might as well say that's Carl Icahn walking away this time, but he's got the bag of money. Last time he just flew back to New York. The article said he had $8 million in his pocket. This time he has 3 seats on the board, and those other smokestacks are coming down too, and all the groaning's going to start happening all over again. And who's going to be behind it? Listen, y'all. This is a religious broadcast. There's religious people right here in front of you. This is the mayor, and he is on the board of trustees at Lawrence Campbell's church. This is his son right here. He is assistant, co-pastor, whatever, in Bible Way Cathedral, Apostolic Lawrence Campbell Sr., apostle of the world, I have him on tape telling a guy at his book signing that an apostle and a bishop are the same thing. And yes, he's an apostle. He's not an apostle, and he's not a bishop in any true sense of the word either. That's what this is about. This is about a religious broadcast that is showing you that these guys who are involved in these religions are going to take you to the cleaners. Well, really, Carl Icahn is going to do it. And we've got news media personalities that don't know anything about what's going on, and a Bible program. And I'm not talking about a Bible program that you use to find the Bible. I'm talking about a Bible preaching program is telling y'all what is about to happen in your future. All right. And so what are you doing? Here's the jingle that you need to listen to. Here's the jingle. That's the jingle you need to be singing. Welcome back, Carl Icahn. Come and fleece us while we sit around and vote yes for something that is really going to kill us. Okay, now I got to get my head together here because I got to switch gears, and I have to totally make my mind get into a different mindset. All right, I hate to see that go, but we have another video, and we have a VLC. Here we go. Okay, I don't like that that's not playing. Let's see just a minute here. I know what I did. All right, open with.
Economic development contains a lot of.
Now, let me prep you here just a minute. This is Dan River Foundation's report by Fourth Economy. Now, it goes together with a slide presentation, and I'm basically learning as we go how to use so many pieces of equipment. And so you just bear with me. And if you don't like what I'm doing, hey, you're never going to see this anywhere else. And you're not going to be able to put it together anywhere else. Nobody else is going to put it together with you. I'm sitting here 2 hours working on this so that you will be the smartest person in the room when it comes time to vote. All right, so here we go. We're going to move our video to 13 minutes and 35 seconds. Listen, y'all, we're going to have the guy that did the report for them tell you that crime can go up 50%, violent crime. You have not heard that. And I'm saying they put this up on their website. I'm glad they did.
Sir.
Dan River Foundation.
So it might not be 20. Most of that population is going to be coming up from North Carolina. Will North Carolina maintain those roads, and we have roads that can handle the tour buses and draw all those people up here? Will the other communities leading up to Danville keep their roads up so you can get all that traffic in here? That's a key question. We also don't know what the gambling age is going to be that the legislature will set.
Now, this is a bit tricky, so I want to bring you up. This is their slide presentation. I'm going to be going in and out of it like this. I hope we're going to be able to see it. That's fine. All right, this is a slide presentation that Fourth Economy put together. It corresponds. So as he's talking, we will end up being able to see the slide presentation. Right now, you are on slide number 11, and he's talking about the North Carolina legalization of casinos and how it will affect Danville. They could lose a significant portion of the market. And right this minute, he is talking about whether or not the legislature is going to set the age at 21, or will it be 18? I cannot believe that we're hearing anybody who is even thinking about, all right. Okay, he's actually working, Charles. So, here we go. Can you believe that you are hearing that somebody is thinking about whether or not 18-year-olds or 21-year-olds are going to get to go in the casino? If the legislature sets the age at 21, can't get in the casino unless you're 21, there's going to be a smaller market. Now, here's my question. Is it the case that the Danville City Council wants 18-year-olds to be in the casino as opposed to 21-year-olds? Well, here's the question. Do we want to make more money or do we want to make less money? More money comes if the state legislature votes for 18-year-olds to be able to go into the casino. Now listen, y'all. One of the individuals that's in the Dan River Foundation, her parents own a tour bus organization, and she works with the Boys and Girls Club. Now, does she want 18-year-old boys and girls to go in the casino? Does she want the legislature? Do they want the legislature set at 21? Well, the question is, it's all about money, isn't it? I mean, we've already thrown our morals out the window here. Let's go ahead and throw the Bible away. Nobody's paying any attention to what the Bible says about gambling. We've already done the shows. You can go back and look at our casino shows, and you can. Do I have to tell you that the Bible is against gambling? Do you really have to be told that you have to rob your neighbor? Oh, gambling is not robbing. What is it? Everybody knows. I dare you to do this. Go to casino.org and drop down the little hotspot that says scams. And you look at all the scams with these CEOs and Illinois senators. All kinds of individuals are constantly being caught involved in schemes associated with casinos. It's one of the biggest industries in the United States, and it is nothing but taking money out of one person's pocket and putting it in another, and the casino gets a part of that. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me help you take money out of your neighbor's pocket. Your 18-year-old neighbor, your 18-year-old neighbor's daughter. What in the world? That's exactly what we're looking at. Danville Casino will compete with other Virginia casinos for the in-state market and parts of the NC market. Do you realize what's going on? Do you not realize that this casino is going to compete with lottery? It's going to compete with horse racing? And you don't have those stats, do you? It's in this report. All of those stats, all of that information is in the reports. Now let's go ahead and listen to him a little bit more.
Is it going to be 18 or is it going to be 21? There have been different proposed legislation out there that set the rate at 18, but most of them are setting them at 21. We based our assumptions on a gambling age of 18. So if it's 21, that's going to be a smaller market. The other risk is whether or not North Carolina legalizes casino gaming. They've been legalizing other forms of gaming. A lot of things about the state would suggest that it's not likely that they're going to add casinos, but it's been happening in a lot more places. So you have access to this market until North Carolina legalizes their casinos. If they do legalize, it could drop your share of the market by 30 to 50%.
Are you hearing this? If they legalize, it could drop your share to 50%. What are you thinking? North Carolina is looking at you. You're passing legislation right below them. You're north of them, and you're passing legislation, and you have a map right here that shows that you're sucking all the money out of North Carolina. So that's your neighbor right there. Your neighboring state is your target area, your feeder area. Feed what? Feed greed. Feed your desire to have your 18-year-olds going to casino. You just heard him say that they built their report around the possibility of it being an 18-year-old because the intake would be much smaller. The amount of money that you make would be much smaller if it's 21. And while we're at it, let's suck money out of North Carolina. They'll be we'll leech off of them until they get smart enough to have their own legalized gambling casinos. Man, what a bunch of, I don't even know what to think about this. So now here, get this. Your mind's just about to be blown. Listen to this.
To make it much tougher to sustain that higher level casino. And a core question is, not just how big the benefits will be, But where are they distributed? Who benefits? And then where do the costs fall? So on the low end, and we base this based off of a distribution proposed in SB 1706. We don't know that that's going to be what comes out. The JLARC study is saying the state keeps 100% of the gaming revenues and the host community only gets the non-gaming.
I know you don't get that, but that is exactly what he said. He said that the state, the JLARC study, which was submitted to the Senate, Virginia's legislature, said that they should let the state get all of the taxes, and the host city, Danville, get nothing. That is exactly what he just said. Here's a slide that is talking about this, and so who benefits? That's what we're talking about. That's the slide that we're on. It's number 12. So let's continue to listen.
But if they follow this distribution, the state got a portion. They gave a portion to the transportation district, which would help pay for those roads coming in and out. And I'll also say that once you get this kind of money on the table, every community is going to be trying for a piece of the pie from the state. They're all going to be asking for it. But based on that distribution, on the low end, Danville would get for that $50 million casino $625,000 in annual gaming revenues.
$625,000. Who are y'all listening to? If things come out on the low end, the $50 million casino, who in the world thinks they're going to build a $300 million casino here? Have y'all even looked? Has anybody even looked at this? Look, I'm fixing to show you the benchmark. Here they are right here. These are the casinos that are called the benchmark casinos. This group, Fourth Economy, very extremely highly sought after planning group. They did this study, and here are your benchmark casinos. On your low end is going to be on the right of your screen, the left of your screen, Shelbyville, Indiana. That's your low end. Can I tell you what's going on inside of this casino? They have a $2 buffet. $2. You think the businesses around Schofield are going to make any money if they bring in a casino like this one in Shelbyville, Indiana, that will bring in $50 million? If you do bring in the $50 million casino, that kind of casino, that is in fact a Caesars casino, by the way, you get $625,000 in annual tax revenue. Who is selling this stuff, y'all? I'm saying I'm giving you the stats from the very meeting, from the report that the Danville Regional Foundation brought in. And so what am I supposed to do with the fact that these are the stats? I'm letting you listen to the guy right here. And I hate that I'm hurrying up, but I'm having to.
Now the other taxes, your $2.6 million, the sales, the real estate. We'll go into that in a minute.
Okay, you might be saying, Johnny, we caught you. He just said the others will be $2.6 million. Listen, that's the real estate. That's the sale of property. You are not going to get none of that. And somebody's going to, you're not even going to know where those dollars went.
On a high end, Danville would get $5.6 million plus another $3.5 in the other taxes. When you think about how this would compare to the benchmark casinos, is this a fair rate? A lot of states, the host communities get 1% to 2% of the revenues.
Right.
Now on the social impacts, one possible impact is crime. Now, we are not trying to predict crime. I want to be very clear that this is not a prediction of what can happen. We're looking at a range of possible outcomes. Crime could go down. In the Charlestown area, the Hollywood Casino has a lower crime rate than the surrounding communities. I can't say that it has a lower crime rate because of the casino. I can just say that it does. But in most other casino communities, the crime rate is higher. There's only been one national study that looked at casinos all across the study. It is old. They looked at a 20-year time period. They looked across the entire United States from 1977 to 1996. And they found that 8% of crime in casino counties was attributable to the casinos. A lot of time has passed. Police have better technology. They know how to do things better. So maybe that's an overestimate. But also notice criminals have also gotten more sophisticated and developed new methods. So that game is always playing out. So we economic development contains a lot of uncertainty. Every economic development project is a risk. And develop new methods. So that game is always playing out. So we economic development, Charlestown area, the Hollywood casino has a lower crime rate than the surrounding communities. So I can't say that there's going to be an 8% increase in crime. What we're saying is crime could increase. This is a risk, and you need to be prepared if it happens.
Now, we're looking at the screen right here, and you can see that their report says 50% violent crimes. And he's going to talk in a minute about the fact that the reason why violent crimes happen in a casino-related setting is because people are winning money. You might say, well, you got these other people who put in tourist attractions like Busch Gardens or whatever. You're not going to Busch Gardens to get $5,000 in your pocket because you won. Somebody won. You think these individuals don't talk to people on the outside about who won what? And you've got a big parking garage? Look on casino.org and look at the crime and the parking garages and things of that nature. Do you think this crowd right here has already planned ahead in regard to parking and intro and egress and outgoing, which is basically the same thing? These folk, I don't think they've done any of their studies yet. They haven't submitted any of that. But we're all talking about voting yes, and we'll fix it later. It sounds like the Affordable Care Act. What did Nancy Pelosi say? Let's pass it and we'll read it later. Go to my doctors to this day, and we were promised that we'd be able to keep our doctors and our insurance, and everything is a mess because nobody's paying attention. Everybody's trying to grab the almighty dollar, rob our neighbor, take advantage of them, and we're giving you information as clear as I know how. I'm saying this was an extreme undertaking in regard to give you all this information. So that's 50% violent crime per 100,000 residents. You might say we don't have 100,000. Okay, let's say we got half of that. So that's 25% plus crime. Now, I just really don't know what to do with people. So let's continue to listen because we're going to get into problem gambling.
You need to be able to say that, will this generate enough benefits and enough revenue that this is okay? Now, a lot of this crime is just related to any attraction you do, anything you do that would bring in 6,000 visitors a day is going to increase your crime. But casinos are still a little different because most of those other attractions don't have those visitors leaving with cash in their pockets. And the legislature hasn't set a limit on how much the casino can pay out in cash. But in some states, that's $20,000 or more. Some states limit it to $5,000. That's different than having an amusement park or some other type of attraction in your community. Another social impact is problem gambling. Now, national studies have put the rate of problem gambling at just under 3%. That's what we were using in our estimate to say that could impact 2,200 local residents. And that would be. Another social impact is problem gambling. Now, national studies have put the rate of problem gambling at just under 3%. That's what we were using in our estimate to say that could impact 2,200 local residents. And that would. Another social impact is problem gambling. Now, national studies have put the rate of problem gambling at just under 3%. That's what we were using in our estimate to say that could impact 2,200 local residents. And that would, another social impact is problem gambling. Now, national studies have put the rate of problem gambling at just under 3%. That's what we were using in our estimate to say that could impact 2,200 local residents. And that would be an estimated annual social cost of $1.3 million in Danville and $1.9 million in Pennsylvania. And that's driven by the number of residents that could be impacted in those communities. This is what we call social cost. This isn't a line item that comes out of the city's budget or Pennsylvania County's budget. It's a social cost that is borne by the individual, their family, their employer, their neighbors, the community.
Did you hear that? It's a social cost that's borne by the individual, your family, your neighbors, your employer. 2,200 individuals, local residents. Do we need those individuals having social problems that affect their entire family and their employer, their neighbors? When you start talking about how is it going to affect your neighbors, people steal in order to get money to gamble when they're addicted. They will empty their bank account. They will use their 401k. They will use their retirement. They're going to be using your kids. That's your kids' money. That's your school money for your kids. There is no telling how many individuals who have mortgaged their house. And we're talking about 2,200 of them. And some of them, according to this report, these individuals are actually hoping that the state legislature will set the age for gaming at 18 instead of 21 because we can get more of these individuals in here and get them addicted. Consider such a thing. And you notice this gentleman right here. Let me just say for this guy, Jerry, he is unbiased. He has never done a casino report. They got him so that they could have somebody that wasn't trying to sell it. He was trying to give them a realistic view, and his view, in my opinion, is very pessimistic. This information that you're seeing is not positive. 50% per 100,000 per capita violent crime, social costs. Man, what in the world? All right, let's continue. Let's move ahead a little bit. I want to talk to you now. Let's say 27:53. I'm going to move ahead so we don't run out of time because I definitely don't want you to miss this. So this is casino competing with local businesses. Here we go.
What happened? And in the benchmark communities we looked at, we saw a range of experience based on who the operators were, how they partnered with local businesses, how the casino fit in to the region's tourism strategy. Did the region really have a tourism strategy and a broader platform of amenities to attract visitors and get them into the community outside of the casino? Some cases they did, in some cases they didn't. And that impacts whether or not the patrons are primarily local or whether you get people from farther and wider away. Then it also matters where the casino's located and how it's set up. Is it isolated? Is it all inclusive? Don't look outside and don't go visit any other business in Danville. If it's that isolated and all inclusive, it's not going to generate positive spillovers.
That's exactly what we're talking about. They're wanting to have the $300 million dollar casino, the one that they're showing on their commercial. That's what they want in here. This one right here, that's being put up by the city council. This big all-inclusive where you go in and spend all your money. Frank's down there. Nobody gonna go down to Frank's and get a Philly cheese for what, $8 or $9 with fries? I told you the Shelbyville, Indiana casino, Caesars Casino, that's one of their benchmark, looks like Danville. It has a $2 buffet up in there. He just said this is not going to spill over and it's not going to help the community. It's actually going to compete. And what plans has anybody made except to everybody get rich? Not going to happen.
Or you have some of the casinos that are more embedded into a district where they do have relationships with the existing businesses, and in some cases they have partnerships. They might, serve somebody's food in their restaurant. They might have other vendors they work with. There can be positive spillovers. So it's going to come down to a whole series of decisions that get made between now and then of whether or not you get the kind.
Now, look at this, y'all. Down here at the bottom, it says casino patrons are not local residents. If that is the case, you have a greater potential for positive spillover benefits. Basically, what you're saying is we have these people that are not local. We bring them in. They're our feeder market. We're going to take their money, and then they're going to eat and spend some of that money in our community. So basically what we're saying is we hope that all of our neighbors we don't want local people to come, but they're going to come. 2,200 of them are going to have addiction problems. But we hope that these people our patrons are not local residents, and we'll fleece these local residents, and it will actually provide a greater potential for positive spillover benefits. And if we can get them down to 18 years old, get all these 18-year-olds coming out of North Carolina and get them in here, and it'll be a greater spillover. We'll take more of their money. Our take will be bigger. What are we becoming, y'all? Have we not had enough trouble in the United States? I mean, you think about all of the trouble that we actually have and the difficulties that we're having right now, and we want to do something like this while all the city of churches is praying that God will be kind to us and favorable to us and merciful. All right, I'm going to go towards the end because I don't want to miss this, and I'll come back. And let me just play a little bit more of this.
A facility that's going to be a positive on the community or a negative. The impacts are very mixed. The casino is not a silver bullet. So you'll be glad to know I'm into the wrap-up phase now. What if Danville bets on a casino? As you said, there's a lot of unknowns here. How big will it be? Will you be able to attract all the people to support a $50 million casino or a $300 million casino? How long will you be able to sustain a casino at $300 million if North Carolina legalizes? You will get some jobs. Could be 500, some jobs could be 3,000. And there's going to be wages. Not all those jobs, though, will go to Danville residents. They'll go to folks outside of Danville. There'll be people commuting in for those jobs. So some of those benefits are going to flow to those other communities. A lot of taxes are going to be generated. But it is a very open question right now as to where those tax dollars are going to flow. The way we looked at it, the state was going to get the bulk of the benefit off the gaming taxes.
So did you hear that? The state is going to get the bulk of the benefit, and everybody's talking about all these taxes and these talking points that you're listening to. Now I'm going to move to the end of this presentation because I want to hear this guy. I don't know who he is. You're from this community. Maybe you will recognize him.
Allocation of the flow of funds from it, because it may not be a allocation of the in the North Carolina legislature doing anything legalizing gambling in that state. Obviously, a huge element of our potential here would be the fact that North Carolina does not have legalized gambling to any degree. I would urge our city officials and council to be very, very careful if this project should ever come to pass with the allocation of the flow of funds from it, because it may not be a 30-year, 20-year, or even 10-year source of funds with that cloud always out there. And probably the more successful that our project might be would also serve as a greater incentive to the state of North Carolina to legalize gambling. And if a casino were built, say, in central North Carolina, pick Greensboro, for instance, that could provide a very short, useful life for ours. And I just think we need to be careful how we would propose spending the funds flow from this project, given that situation.
I wish I did know who he was, because that's some very good advice. I'm sure that some of you, recognize him. And he is basically saying, be very careful. And that's great advice. You want all that groaning to start all over again from Carl Icahn coming in here. Listen, y'all, as we're closing out on this thing, Carl Icahn is coming back here. Now, you might say, he's not literally coming back here. Does he have to literally be here? I'm saying, do you have to see the devil to know that the devil is working in our area? No, you don't. His influence is what is basically the determining factor, and that's what we're actually talking about in this particular video, or in this particular segment. And I'm trying to get individuals, cooler heads, as they say, to take over, and let's do something that's going to be beneficial. And I've been saying, as we're closing out, listen, this is a recent article, June 18, 2019. This is Carl Icahn now, and that was him back in 1982. And these articles basically are telling you that this is happening right now. He has 3 seats on the board of this El Dorado casino, and individuals need to take this business very, very serious. Now, I'm going to close out, get ready to close out here. And you've been watching What Does the Bible Say? We do appreciate you for being with us, and we hope that you did learn something. And you know that you can get in touch with me anytime to see if I can figure out how to get out of this right quick and give you that option as we're going off. And you can go to our YouTube, Johnny Robertson. Just type in Johnny Robertson, and you'll be able to see our YouTube and be able to get in touch with all of these items that we've been showing you, and that would help you be able to help somebody else. And so I'm basically going to go off without giving all that context stuff because I'm running out of time here. And we do appreciate you for being with us, and we hope that you will look forward to seeing this again. We'll probably do some reruns on this. So God bless you. Always ask for what does the Bible say. Good night.